Well, Kevin, there were some moments in there, and Sammy really with Kyle, there were 6 or 7. Tim Clausen, Brian's dad, that's about the most awesome 6 or 7 laps I've ever seen. What was it from your perspective?
It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot, you know, and I hated seeing the yellow there because I was kind of the first one that found the top, and then Kyle moved up right there, but he kind of missed it, and I had him, you know, beat off the bottom when the yellow come out, and I knew if he wasn't going to go up there on his own, Keith was going to tell him to, and that was, I knew I had to do something a little different, but you know, we got going, and then they got to racing and gave me a hole there, and I didn't know he was going to go back to the bottom the one time and kind of bounced off of him, and then me and Kyle went to, you know, slide each other back and forth, and the way the racetrack was, you really couldn't go in and slide yourself and protect, because then they just go back out there and get a big run and come back and do it the other end, so it was you're going to kind of have to slide them short and hope you made them check up for just a second to get going again, and I think I kind of accomplished that there when he backed in, and he knew he was going to have to throw a big one to get back across in front of me, and I guess it was a little too big.
Sammy, I guess when you're in that position, the last thing you want to do is to take out a team car, and for a while you were all bunched in there. How concerned were you about
Well, I mean, well, the guys told me, you know, that I was okay on the bottom, so I stayed down there, and it was like I was probably a half a lap late moving up. You know, I looked up on the dealer once, and I seen them kind of up there. I looked before they were on the bottom, so I looked again, they were on the top, and I didn't go up there in 1 and 2, and you know, Kyle probably got a little bit of a run and caught me in a bad place, and let Kevin slip through there, and then they got pretty aggressive, so I said, well, I'll just back up here a couple car lengths and just watch this. So, you know, and then after that, I mean, it wound up being a little bit of a problem there. I mean, it just wasn't enough room for me to get through. You know, I knew Kyle was going to go for it, but, you know, I figured our cars were going to be better later on, so I didn't want to get to pushing too hard too early. So, I just sat back there, just kind of watched it, and just was trying to see what was going to develop. You know, then after that, I kind of started running through the middle and the bottom, and you could tell it was getting better, and you know, wound up rolling up on Kevin. I went there and said, man, he's going to see me. You know, he kind of wasn't getting a good run off at 2, and I mean, I was way out of the throttle, but then I still rolled up there, and you know, he moved right down. So that was about it. You know, then the one deal, I just kind of let him go. I said, well, you know, maybe he'll wear out his tires, you know, think I'm still there, so let him go run hard for a bit, and I'll cool it off, and I can hold the guys off, you know, slow it down quite a bit. I figured we'd have another yellow, and it did, so, but it was going to be tough to pass at that point, because there was really one lane.
Sammy, you mentioned the video screen, you mentioned it from previous years too. How much do you use that?
Well, you can use it quite a bit, you know, when you're, you know, not right on top of somebody or right around there. You're coming off there straight. You got the car pointed. And you're just waiting for it to get to the other end. You look up, and sometimes you have to wait till you go through the line, and then you see what's behind you. You know, you can't do it every time, but there's a lot of times you can. You know, and even on the yellows, I mean, sometimes the camera will pick up what's going on, or let's see where the lap cars were. And, don't tell anybody else. We're the only ones that's going to know that.
So you're kind of relaxed in the car?
I'm always relaxed. Sometimes if I get out, I'm not very relaxed. But yeah, that's the best way to do it. You know, don't let anything bother you. You know, you drive with passion, not emotion. That's what I try to tell them. So if you do that, you don't make mistakes.
Right. Thank you.
Brad actually used the term being a fan here for a while. I mean, when you were watching that for you, I mean, those are tracksiders down out somewhere. You looking at that going, oh my God, that's really intense stuff up there for that one. And you just thinking, I've got to be on my toes, not getting in the midst. It happens.
Yeah. Well, it was getting pretty aggressive there sometimes. You know, like it's not going to pay much. That lap, it's just the last one, so it's a big bonus to be there at the end. So I'm just I'll watch, you know, see what happens. You know, just I missed a half a lap going to the top, and was a lap early showing him the bottom, so it went against me both ways. I mean, that's really the difference. The cars were close enough that it could have went the other way. I mean, the last 3 years ago went the other way.
Sure.
You know, at different times. But I mean, to come here and do what we've done is pretty remarkable. Just to get through this and be in the shape we're in, and you know, get through this the way we've done.
It's just their ATM. They just come here once a year.
Yeah.
Take out whatever.
So if this was sports car racing, sometimes we use the phrase best in class. Did you feel best in class?
Oh yeah, I'm just showing all those little Porsche cars around there. They're in those other cars that, you know, pass them at Daytona going about 100 miles an hour past. That's what it feels like at times, but, you know, we've gotten a little closer, I feel like. And here tonight, you know, we were able to get up and race a little bit with them once, you know, once the track took rubber. And, you know, Sammy, I felt like found it first, and he kind of moved in the middle first and caught up with Kevin, and then it ended up just being right on the bottom. So you really couldn't do much at that point, but, you know, for the first 15 laps, we were able to keep up. We weren't able to really mix it up too much. Kyle seemed a little better, but other than that, we're gaining on it. But, you know, pretty happy with third right now.
Kevin, there's some pretty talented drivers at the back of the lap driving because of the yellows. Did you have a lot of trouble back there?
I mean, it really probably wouldn't matter who was back there once it hit rubber, you know, and they were still, some of them were racing surely hard there at the end, and then, you know, they about wrecked down the back straightaway coming to that first checkered and got me in a pickle of kind of, I had a run, but you don't want to get out of the rubber, and it's just, and then I tried to whoa up for him, and I didn't whoa up enough, and got Jason's right rear there a little bit, and I saw a black car and just assumed it was him, and luckily it was Tony there, and then the yellow came out, and it didn't really matter at the end, but I thought I'd thrown it away there without even really meaning to, going about 6 miles an hour.
Sammy, there was a point when you caught Kevin in traffic and then he made a move and got 4 cars in between you. At that point, do you think you had something?
Well, it was, you know, you're always hoping you have an opportunity, and I was there, but, you know, that happened a couple of times that some holes opened up, he went through them, and they closed up before I could get in there, you know, so that's the way it goes. I can't get them out of the way. You know, but I was hoping that, you know, it was tough to spot him that car length there at the end. It could have been a little bit closer, but, you know, I was hoping Tony would give me a bit more room, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean, it was a little tight for me getting into one. He stayed right there, and, you know, I had to slow up a little bit, and he didn't take off with Kevin, so, you know, it was 2 or 3 car lengths, and I think I got some of it back, but then it was like, I'm not gonna make, you know, if I get there, that's all I'm gonna do is just get there. So, once we took the light, it was just bring it around and finish it. That's all you can do.
Kevin, your right rear was down to the court. Were you trying to save it at all, or were you just gonna go for it and hope it held up?
I mean, it's hard to judge, and, you know, I didn't really, I'd watch and he'd be way back, and I'd try to kind of take a lap off, and, you know, then you push, and the one time, you know, these cars, you can get them in a bad push and never really get them back if you get in the wrong spot, and I didn't ever want to miss it, and at the same time was trying to save it as much as I could without, you know, messing up, and it's just it's a tough game to play, and, you know, he was, I figured he was saving it by looking, you know, how far ahead I was, and there's really no reason to be that far ahead in that situation, you know, unless he's just really conserving, and, you know, it's just hoping it makes it. And that thing got to, like, I mean, probably 25 to go, got to bouncing, you know, and that obviously says it's getting softer, which is, you know, just keep going and hoping it doesn't, and, you know, was figuring if it did, maybe I'd go out with a chant like he did at Knoxville the year it flew out, but it probably would have been the other kind of chant.
Get talk about that original start. He beats pretty good on that. Then you got a second chance on it. Not so bad though.
Actually, the first one was better because I got in line and just got down. The second one, I got going too good, and then I was kind of forced to run the top 1 and 2, and then I stayed with him, and then we got down to 3 and 4, and it's like, well, I guess I'll do it again. And I knew it probably wasn't going to be better, but, you know, if he got down there and got tight for a second or bicycled a little bit like I did that first time, that, you know, you might have a shot, and then obviously Kyle was, I knew he was going to be right in there. You know, if I couldn't get down, and I kind of tried to chop him off without, you know, getting into him or anything, and I got him as chop as I could, but just, you know, couldn't get down far enough. And you know, then it was just a matter of trying to tell myself to not get in a hurry to go back to the top, because I wasn't as good as probably they were around the bottom, and I knew I had to change something. I figured if I blew it off first and didn't lose any spots doing it, I might have a good shot at sneaking them.
Talk about that last lap there, and then the caution come out. Your thoughts at that point?
I was just trying to ride, and I come off of 4 there, and the guy still had 2 up for the lap cars. I'm like, throw the white, dude. You know, and it's just, you never know how they're scoring it, and you know, you're used to just going off the flags, and you assume the transponders will work, but you want the guy to go ahead and throw the flag, and you know, he got it out there just in time, and was trying just to ride behind them, and you know, it's hard, and like I said, you're trying not to get yourself tight and screw up, and at the same time, you got to slow down to their pace, and those guys were still racing and half running over each other, and then they bounced off each other off 2, and your first thought was, well, just drive around them, and then, but you can't drive around them because then you hang yourself out of the rubber, and then you're probably worse off. And I tried to just get in line behind Jason, and I think he had just kind of given up, and he went in there real slow, and I couldn't even get stopped that much, and you know, hopped over his right rear for a second. I thought I was done, and like I said, the first nose I saw was black, and I was like, well, there it goes. You know, and luckily it was Tony, and then the yellow come out. And it goes back to the first 2 years I wanted still having to deal with green white checkers.
Yeah. Talk about the battle with Larson.
That was fun. You know, we've been friends a long time. We've raced a lot of sim racing and stuff, and battled out. But I don't think we've ever really got to race, you know, real race that much and race like that. And you know, we both have a lot of respect for each other, so I think it showed. And we were at least clearing each other in those. And I couldn't believe he drove back around me the one time. That actually impressed me. I kind of, you know, I wanted to give it a wow there, and it was kind of cool. But it was fun. I wish we could have raced like that the whole time, and I'd enjoyed just ripping around the fence there for the whole race, and wish it wouldn't have laid rubber. But you know, it was. I knew it was big, and when he backed across there, I was like, that might be a little too backwards, and then the yellow come out, and I assume that's what happened.
Sammy, I'll direct this to you, and you know a little bit about your son. As dominant as you have been at this event, really from the beginning, we had never had a guy win back-to-back races, and now he's put together 4. Just talk about how remarkable that is with all the variables that you deal with.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm the guy that's been putting the cars together. So, but yeah, it's remarkable that, I mean, for us to do 2 cars, it's been up there for the last really 5 years. I mean, if we didn't have a problem, you know, we've got 5 wins in a row. And we've got, how many seconds, and maybe a third. So, I mean, after that, it's, where's everybody else?
But even given your meticulous preparation, what you're known for, and going over and making improvements, there's still an incredible amount of work that goes into this event. Just one spin on your gears, etc. I mean, it's still sort of remarkable.
Yeah, it's a lot more than that. But I mean, you know, having good cars and cars that run all the time really helps. And you know, he's making the right decisions. I mean, if you know, like the year before, there was a couple that I was there, and he moved right where I was. Just like tonight, he saw it, he took advantage of it, and was able to be in the right place at the right time. You know, but it's like tonight, I was kind of in the wrong place, but it's like when you're leading, and you just keep doing the same thing. It's like, well, I want to go run the top, and it's like, when you get blowed off, it's like, well, then I look like a fool. Or people say, well, why'd you do that? And they say, well, why did you stay on the bottom? It's like, well, you can't win when you're leading. The track changes. It's just you got this place that changes a lot. You just got to be in the right place at the right time. Have a car that can maneuver and make the changes throughout that race. So, I mean, we've had that covered pretty much. Been able to do it and do it the right way. And we've just had whatever to get through without getting beat up very much at all.
Sammy, early on when you got out front, you seemed like you were just going to get out front, you had to be comfortable groove. And Kyle Larson down 1 and 2 showed you nose on the outside. side, it seemed like you stepped it up a little bit. Were you a little surprised to see him coming at that point?
Well, I actually didn't see him.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't see him. But, you know, a couple times I looked up, they were on the bottom, and then one time I looked up, they were on the top, and that's when I probably stayed down there a half a lap too long. I should have moved right up, going into one, and I didn't. It got pretty slick there at that point, so I tried to go up, and I didn't get a good run off of two, and you know, then I was going there, and then he was right there on top of me. Kind of got me in a bad place. But, so it's just, I'll watch this for a bit and see what happens. And then, you know, then I could see where the track was faster or slower based off what they were doing. And then after the next one, I said, well, I can run through here, and it's going to be easy. So, but so I rolled up on him there coming off of two, and I was like, I'm not far enough to get ahead, but I'm probably, and I tried to slow down, but I didn't slow down enough.
Kevin, what's the rest of the year looking like for you?
Maybe somebody will call me to run a midget once in a while. I don't know. We're trying to get something back together to get in that Washington Bestie car and nationwide stuff and run as many races as we can there, and then
Hey, Jeff.
and try to run as many races elsewhere as we can. Just you know, a pretty decent deal with MB Racing, Michael Wade, to run that 360, and I'm sure we'll
Be down there.
we'll play with that at some point, and you know, just feeling as much as I can. You know, I'd love to run 120 races like Kyle does, but you know, it's just I guess the opportunities aren't there. He's got all the rides filled.
Brad, how about your year?
It's pretty similar to last year. You know, trying to run as many outlaw races as I can, all-star races, as many major races as I can, and then you know, try to do as many nationwide races as I can. Kind of the same boat as Kevin. You know, just trying to make the best of every opportunity I can get down there, and I have a few opportunities where I can run, you know, 10 to 15 nationwide races, and then you know, just fill in the schedules and race as much as possible.
All right, guys. Thank you all very